thing.
Why do I feel like we're contradicting our statement?
We are, yeah.
You are! I didn't say that!
Okay, I am.
Hey, I'm your host Alexis.
And I'm your co-host, True.
Sit back and relax because you're
In good company.
Oh my gosh, so we're back.
Yeah, it's welcome to season 2.
You haven't seen our faces in a few weeks, and you haven't seen us in this room for a few months, so
yes.
This is so exciting. As you can see, as Truk said, we are back in our home ground in the studio, and it feels good.
Yo, I missed the whole atmosphere of this place. Like, it feels so professional. The lighting. Oh,
I missed it so much. Like, I walked in and I was like, oh my gosh. Y'all,
it's back.
Literally.
Like, the vibes are back.
It's completely back. Filming has been a little bit of a struggle over the summer, so it's nice to just have a place to go and, you know, do our content and get out.
Yeah, no, it's going to be so consistent again because we're both on campus and it's going to be good.
Now, okay, this episode I'm crazy excited for because the audience doesn't know this, but recently it was my birthday and then a week later it was Truk's birthday, so we're both August babies.
Yes.
And for this episode, I thought it'd be so fun. Shout out to my mom. She came up with this idea, but we're gonna do kind of a recap of what we learned. So I turned 20. I'm doing 20 things that I learned, I guess over my 20 years really, but kind of recently too. And then Truk's gonna do, she just turned 19, so 19 things that she's learned. We broke it up in categories, so you know, a lot of good advice and a lot of good just like conversation.
Yeah.
Me and Truk were hanging out and we were talking the other day and we're like, oh, we gotta save this for the podcast.
Yeah, no, we had to cut our conversation short. We were like, no, pause, so
no,
we can dive deeper later.
Okay, so do you want to start with the category, didn't we do like romance and relationships first?
Yeah, should we start off with letting people know what the categories are?
Oh yes, that's a great plan. Okay.
Alright, so we came up with 5 different categories. We have romance and relationships, we have friendships, aspirations, like how you want to move forward with your career or your just general life, skills, and self-image / values. So these are our 5 categories that I'm super excited to get into.
Yes, okay. And let's start with the first one, romance and relationships, which I feel like we have a lot to say and very little to say at the same time.
Yes, we like to talk, but in reality, both Alexis and I really lack an experience.
Yes.
So this is going to be an interesting topic to talk about.
For sure. Now, I will say, starting off, by the time, like when I was 16, 17, 18, by the time I turned, like I knew I was going to turn 20, I definitely did not imagine having, I don't want to say I have little experience, because I have experienced things, but I definitely think I would have had like a serious, like long-term relationship right now, and I have not, which is fine, because everyone's at their own pace. But like, I just want to preface that by saying I have definitely learned a lot, but I think there's definitely more to learn. So getting into it though, the first thing I wrote down for myself is that relationships need trust, and if you don't trust someone, there's no relationship. And I think that's why I'm not in a relationship.
Honestly, men are just hard to come by. Men are hard to trust.
I just find it hard to trust y'all. No offense, but I think that's also like, it's on y'all, but it's on me too.
Yeah,
you know,
it's a two-way thing.
Right, it's like self-work that I need to do. I tend to not trust guys and their intentions, even like friendships. You know, sometimes people have ill intentions towards you, and that can be a really scary thing, because once you give someone, I guess, your heart in a better sense, or you know, you give that trust to somebody, they have the ability to break it, and not break you, because that seems so intense, but a bad relationship, a relationship gone awry, definitely it has its effects. And I guess all I wanted to do was avoid being hurt. So despite the fact of wanting a relationship and thinking it would be nice, I am more concerned with protecting my well-being.
Yeah, I think I go through the same thing. I'd rather protect my own well-being than to really give myself up. I mean, I'm so used to having like really high boundaries and really high walls with guys, so they never really got to learn much about me. And it kind of goes this like the opposite direction too, where I kind of put a barrier on myself where I don't try to learn as much about them either. But what I only have one advice or learning thing in the romance and relationship, but I put find what you value in a guy. I put that I like, outside of all of like the current like social media stuff and like discussions that everybody's having, I think like at the core, I really value a person with direction and who will move forward in things even if they don't know what they want. They will continue to move forward and have a direction for their life purpose. I think that's what I really value. So I urge other people to really look into like, why do you want a relationship? Like, do you want this for like the pictures? Do you want this because of societal pressure? Like, who do you need for yourself? Like, what do you value? And I'm really picky, and I have like really high standards, which is why I've been single since birth. But yeah, like one of them is find your values and don't really settle for anybody.
I love that. And I also feel like, I know we talked about it, there is this fear of the older we get, the less, like, compared to our peers, we have less and less experience. So
yeah, we do.
I think there's a fear of that, and being just like baby ducks in the relationship, and having a partner who is more experienced, or, and I'm not saying you'd be judged for it, but there is this fear of giving somebody all your first, and I don't know, I just, the idea of that really freaks me out.
Actually, I think you're one of the few friends that I know that hasn't ever dated anybody as well. And I think our friendship gives me comfort because I know that I'm not alone in this.
Definitely.
Because I think, like, whenever I think of all of my, like, closest friends, everybody's cuffed right now.
Yeah.
So,
or been in a relationship, or just experienced it.
Yeah.
And I look at Truk, and I'm like, Truk's got it going on, and she's single, so.
No, same with Alexis. So,
literally.
So we're, like, each other's little comfort.
No, it definitely, it is comforting. It's like a no judgment zone. And so me and Truk have, like, very long discussions about this. But I also will say that, a little piece of advice, if you really do like somebody, I say go for it and get to know them, go on dates, and don't take it too seriously. I think I take it too seriously, and that freaks me out.
Me too.
And then also communication. I don't like communicating with people, but if you make it clear your boundaries, what you're okay with, what you're not, if they respect that, they're going to abide by that. And there doesn't need to be this fear and anxiety around dating them, and they're going to move faster than you, or, you know, they're going to be disappointed by you. But I think at the end of the day, obviously don't rush it. Me and Truk have clearly taken that advice because
we're definitely not
we're very not rushing it. But I understand the desire to want a relationship. I think it's more than wanting, and yeah, I really do think it's the wanting and the you know, you kind of
the romanticization of it.
Yeah, like 100%. I was just thinking, it's really the person that I make up in my head. Like, in the sense
rather
that,
than,
like, rather than the actual person, I put all these really positive, like, like qualities onto them. And then if they disappoint me, I'm like, well, that was kind of unfair of me to put on them, in a sense. So, it's a mixed bag.
Yeah.
But that's kind of our take on romance relationships. Hopefully, we will have more.
Oh, did you only put one as well?
Girl, I went through, like, all 4 of mine.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much for speeding it up.
You're welcome.
Oh, yeah, because I was not going to be contributing.
Nah, you're so good. Our next category is friendship.
Which I'm, like, my favorite category.
So you can start. Go ahead and start.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so this one is the category I wrote the most for.
Okay, nice.
But, yeah, I personally believe that relationships and friendships are very intertwined. To be friends with somebody and to be in a relationship with somebody, it requires a lot of trust and vulnerability. Of course, there are different levels of vulnerabilities when it comes to relationships and friendships. But, yeah, like, you have to be okay with being vulnerable and wanting to reach out to others. I've learned that, like, nobody takes things that seriously, and if you want to hang out with them, just give them a text and be like, hey girl, you free? Like, I'm free. So yeah, just like feel free to reach out to people and don't put so much emphasis on it. Like, I understand that anxiety is a thing, and like social anxiety, and I'm not trying to discredit it, but you know, exposure therapy. Just go text them.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
I think I, like, kind of talking about that, or like keying off of that, I want to say, I feel like in the past year I have really learned how important it is to surround yourself by people who like really appreciate and just love you for who you are. I think those friendships are key because they just feel so safe and comforting, and having people who support you and like can see, like, I don't know, like greatness, who just really like like think the best of you, it makes
Support
you
your essence.
Right, I feel like it makes you be like, oh, okay, like I am cool. Like these people think I'm cool, you know?
Yeah.
It's in a way, it's a great I don't. What's the right word, Truk? Help me out here.
It's a great.
We're blanking.
Grounding?
I know. I wanted to say it's almost like, not that it feeds.
Validating.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I'm struggling to like word it quite right, despite acting like I wrote it down. But I mean, it's just really nice. And I think when you have genuine friendships, you can't help but compare maybe when you were in a relationship with somebody who it didn't go as deep, or you know, it was very surface level, and be like, huh, you know, those are friends. There are times where friends like that are great for situations, but having a friend you can really have deep conversations with like no other, it's just really, it's a nice thing to have.
Honestly, okay, so just to bounce off of that, I put here that you should put your energy in the right place.
Absolutely.
I feel like you should trust your gut instinct, and because you know when somebody wants to be your friend, and you know when somebody's trying to avoid you.
Energy is
like,
just
trust
right.
your gut.
Yeah.
And if you notice that these people are your safe people, go to them and like prioritize and like nourish these friendships of yours.
Oh my gosh, wait.
Yeah,
I think the
ahead.
one thing, I know True can relate to this. So one thing I've definitely learned, like this past year specifically, that I don't think I've experienced before, was I made a lot of friends this year that, despite the fact that we haven't even been friends or like known each other for a year, like it's been less than a year, these friendships feel almost deeper than some of the friendships I have, or some of the people I've known for a lot longer. And I think because off the bat it went below the surface level, but it wasn't in a way that I felt like it was forced. It felt very natural. And just like, it's easy, and it's really hard to explain until you're actually in the friendship to understand like what it's like to have like friends like that. But I remember there are friends, I think there are different circles of friendships, right? You have the really close ones, you have the outer ones, you have the, and everybody has like a place in your life, obviously, but it definitely is key to have like just an inner circle, a safe circle, and people you feel like you can just go to and who are just gonna get it.
To bounce off of the whole circle thing, I think it's super important to have multiple kinds of friends.
We talked about this.
Yeah.
We
It's
did.
so important to have your safe space. It's important to have your fun friends. It's important to have your like friends who have their shit together, so that you can grow in multiple ways. Like,
wait,
people
okay.
are branches.
Which category am I?
I feel like you're in.
I'm curious.
I would say the close one, but I feel like I'm biased because we've been together. But we're like by the hip all the time.
I swear, like, y'all, for context, me and Truk met the first, I think we said this in one of our episodes, we met the first day of the second semester. Literally, like,
January.
day one.
Day one.
And I was like, yeah, good energy.
Something about the energy just...
Yes, and I think another thing, to not freak out if you become friends with someone quickly. Don't discredit that friendship, because
I agree.
I think
time isn't everything.
Precisely.
Some friendships last for so many years, but they don't benefit you anymore. You've like possibly outgrown them.
You just kind of hold on to them to hold on to them.
Yeah.
Just to say like, we're still friends.
And like, I still keep those friends that I've outgrown because I still love them. I will support. If you have a situation going on and you hit me up, I will be there immediately.
Right.
But you just grow as a person, and it's okay not to reach out to them anymore.
I think it's bittersweet.
Yeah.
It is really bittersweet to like see, like gain new friendships and then see your older friendships and be like, oh wow, we just don't get each other the way we used to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's okay because you grow as people.
Right.
And the best you can do is support them during their wins whenever they want to talk about it.
So, y'all, next time I ask Truth this question, she'll be like, you're 100% in the close one.
Yes!
Oh my goodness. Okay, moving on now. I feel like we really covered that well. We're going to get into aspirations.
Yay.
So, actually, one of my aspirations was starting a podcast. So...
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Starting a podcast was hella huge during the pandemic.
Oh, yeah.
And I thought about it then. So it's So we took action like 2-3 years after we thought about it?
Well, okay. For me, I was in the back of my head, but it always felt like it was something unattainable. Like, it'd be nice, but I didn't know how to actually put it into action. And then coming here, podcast studio, they were like, y'all, you want a podcast? Like, you can make one. And honestly, another thing was I knew I had to have somebody to help me out with a podcast, like a co-host, someone to bounce off ideas. And I feel like Truk was honestly the perfect person. Like, she's a great She's a great person to do podcasts with.
Thank you.
Nobody steal her. That's not me. Come and take True Up.
Yeah, I'm already bought by Alexis.
No,
so.
exactly. Sorry, y'all.
Sorry, guys. I'm taken.
She's taken. But no, so that was really fun. Like, actually starting a podcast, posting, doing social media for it.
Guys, now it's season 2. Like, we have a whole
literally
season to back us up.
And we have so many exciting, like, ideas. Yes. But we're not going to reveal too much. Yep. But, True, say one of your aspirations.
Okay, so mine isn't an aspiration per se. It is how to find, like, your passion, right? I take a lot of time to reflect what I'm doing, and I feel like if you sit down one day and just reflect for a little bit, you have to think about, are you chasing this aspiration for yourself? Are you chasing this aspiration for this prestige? And try to think about things that you do in your free time, because that will be a big indicator of, like, what you are good at, like, what you like to do, and things that just happen effortlessly for you.
Right.
And, you know, try to focus your energy into that, because with, like, how society is structured and college is structured, people are always, like, working. So in your downtime, which is why I really like the pandemic, but, like, in your downtime, what do you gravitate towards is how you best find your aspirations.
Oh, I love that. Though one bit I wanted to say was I aspire to be more patient with myself when it comes to reaching my goals, because I feel like prior to coming to college and more in high school, I was so set on my life going a certain way, me attending a certain college, me having a certain group of friends, that I unintentionally kind of I feel like I limited my own opportunities, because when an opportunity arose, it wasn't something that I ever predicted for myself or saw myself having, so I couldn't take full advantage of it. So yeah, just be patient with yourself. Your goals can change, and that's completely fine. Whatever you want to do for your career can change. People you have around you can change, but don't be scared of that change. Like, embrace it.
Yeah, no, okay, so on my aspiration, I had something about being patient too. Not word for word, but I put life is a skill, and being 19 and being 20 is young.
Yeah.
Like, we are barely adults.
Bro,
and
you remember our adulting episode?
Yes.
And guys, referencing back, and we just felt like 18 hit us, and we're like, oh my gosh, we're like old. Yeah, but we're not.
We're not at all.
And like, just reminding yourself that.
Yeah.
Like, you're figuring it out.
Like, I always catch myself thinking, like, oh my gosh, why don't you have your career together yet? Why are you in college, like, messing around with your major? Like, you need to already figure that ish out, and then plan for internships and all that. I haven't touched internships yet, because what the frick am I doing?
I think it's so scary to be, like, in your late teens, early 20s, and to feel aimless.
Yes.
You feel like you're wasting your time. Like, I feel like when I don't have a set goal, I don't know what I'm working towards, and I lose motivation. So I think it's been really nice to come here and to have the podcast and to have classes, right? And have classes that, you know, I enjoy taking, and trying to figure out where I want my life to end up. And honestly, I think I'm starting to have a better idea, and that in itself was really reassuring, but I simply had to give it time.
Yeah. And, like, we're still young, and I don't fully believe this, because I still feel anxious about it, but we're learning, we're practicing, and yeah, life is a skill. You'll get there.
Yes, 100% is. And then also, you know, if you have, like, a goal or aspiration for yourself, I say go for it, because you have one life, y'all.
YOLO!
I mean, unless you're, you know, I'm gonna get, what is it?
Isekai? To another, oh, sorry.
No, girl. I was gonna say, well, you know, people who get, like, they believe you can be reborn.
Oh, reincarnation?
Yes!
Oh.
Isekai is crazy.
No, because I was watching. Never mind.
No, I'm gonna get that later off camera. Let's get to the next one.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Okay, now we're moving on to skills, which yeah. Do you want to start, or do you want me to start? Okay, I start.
Okay, so for skills, I was thinking of things you work towards, your hobbies, anything that requires time, right? And in this, I wrote celebrate your wins, no matter how small it is, because it is super important. Skills takes time to learn, and if you don't celebrate your, like, small victories, you're gonna lose motivation.
Oh my goodness, okay, I love that. And I think one of my biggest things was rediscovering things I loved as a kid. But I felt like I didn't make the time to do. Like, I got back into knitting, and it's been wonderful. I've had sweaters, and I've made hats, and I've made scarves, and I've made leg warmers, and the list goes on and on. I'm taking a creative writing class. I used to write all the time as a kid, and I thought that was something that I had lost. But I've fallen right back into it, and I'm like, no, I never lost it. I just kind of lost myself.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, wait, can I add something to that?
Yes, go.
Here? So, back, like, earlier when I was talking about, like, reflecting and seeing what you naturally gravitate towards, back in middle school, I had a, like, decently sized, like, YouTube channel.
When you say decently sized, like...
500 subscribers.
That is decently sized.
Yeah.
For middle school, that's crazy.
Yeah, so in middle school, I had a YouTube channel. And I worked really hard on it for 3 years, and it fell off because the community was dying, and I was getting busy in high school. Like, you know what expectations they put on you.
Yeah, 100%.
But I kept thinking about it, and whenever I talk to people, I'm like, back in high school, I don't mention it as much as I do now. But I'm like, yeah, you said a YouTube channel, and then my mentor was like, you talk about it a lot, like, you must care about it, like, you naturally gravitate towards that. Try it again. And now we're here with the podcast.
Yes. Oh my goodness. That was another thing. I was never Trooks level. I was like 9 making doll videos, y'all. Like AG, like, look at my doll bed. Look at my backpack opening. But I enjoyed it, and it was something that I didn't know the best way I wanted to share myself with the world. And me and Trook have talked about this. How neither one of us want to leave like this earth, which kind of morbid, but to leave and not leave something behind. And I want to control the narrative that is written about me, and I felt like making a podcast talking about topics I found really important, having my friends on it, and getting to immortalize moments or like my thoughts was the best way to do it. And honestly, I've been having a great time.
Yeah, I like what Alexis said about like immortalizing this thing. I like to word it in like, I really like archiving things.
Yeah.
I love archiving videos, content, like photos,
moments.
It's like, it's a really nice thing to look back on, because people are like, live in the moment, but this is my version of living in the moment.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And like, I know some people are like, put the phone down, do this and that, but I'm the person who's like, I'm not always gonna have my phone out, right? But I like to like have my camera out. I like to take photos. I like to have videos, because honestly, my brain's not gonna remember as well as a photo will. That's just my take on it. Like, we were at our good friend's party. Shout out Mattia.
Happy birthday to her too.
Yes, she'll be a guest soon, y'all. But I was taking like photos and stuff, and I remember I was looking back and I was editing them and sending them out, and I was like, this is just so nice to have.
It is. Like, it's really nice.
And we looked so cute that night.
Alexis and I were matching.
Sidebar.
So, like...
And y'all, it's never intentional. You see us match, we're just that linked up.
Not today though. I just came to the doctors.
But we both look cute, so I guess we're linked in that way.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. Okay, and the last one is self-image and like values. So okay, starting off, I want to say, you were talking about how somebody who has like aspirations and works towards them, and I feel that 100%. I understand what it's like to feel stuck and to not know your direction in life. But when you're trying to move, even if you're sludging, even if you're like in quicksand and you're making your way out slowly, I love that in somebody. And also somebody who just goes for their goals, like unafraid, and just, it's so inspiring, because there's so many aspirations that I have that feel so far away. I don't know the steps to take, but people just go for it, and they believe in themselves, and they make it happen. And I love being people.
Oh my, that's attractive.
No, really, but I just love being around people like that, and I want people to look at me and think the same. So it's, you know, I really admire it.
Yeah, and just like to add on to that, I think really at its core, we really both value people with a vision, and they will go towards it. Like that, that eats.
People who don't let their fear hold themselves back. And I say that I'm trying to get better. Some things can just feel so daunting and so scary.
So
yes, that's so true. But I think, as Truk is saying, it's kind of exposure therapy, little by little.
Get out there, do the thing, text the people.
Funny enough, Truk, I honestly rather like have to do a speech in a room, memorize in front of, I don't know, like a large crowd of people, than go up to a guy I think is cute.
So real. Actually, I'd rather do the same.
Like, to me, that feels something I'm like, okay, I'm more capable of this and getting through and not like an idiot But talking to that cutie over there, absolutely not. And I know it's like you you gotta pick.
It's difficult. I don't know how to navigate.
I don't know. I think going back to relationships just for a hot moment, just for a hot moment. No, really, I will say that the less practice you have, the more scary it is, but you never want to get the practice because you're scared. So it's this awful vicious cycle that Truk and I have yet to escape. If anybody has any tips,
go ahead, put them
like
down.
Please,
because we're still learning.
We're still trying to learn. And I think also dating in this day and age, it's such a weird concept to me.
Alexis and I were talking the other day about like dating apps.
Oh my goodness, dating apps.
Strange. It's a strange thing.
Dating
we
apps,
both can't be on it.
Honestly, it's so hard for me to form real connections with people. And the one time I dabbled on the app and met up with somebody, it didn't go well, y'all. So
nope.
After that I kind of was like, ugh. So if you catch me on an app, keep your mouth shut. I'm going through something, clearly.
Honestly, real. I would too.
Like, keep your mouth shut. Thank you. No, but yeah, we just had to touch on that for a moment.
Yeah. Okay, so let's see what else I wrote on the self-image thing. Oh, okay. So we talked about this in the car while we were prepping for this episode. But a little bit on the less serious side, kind of serious-ish. Like, stop using filters for your pictures. Yeah. I was really insecure back in like the beginning of high school. I was using the Snapchat filters with everything. We all know the Snapchat filters. And
with like the flower crown?
Yeah, well, not the flower crown, but the one that just like
slightly changes your face.
Slightly changes your face. It adds lashes to your eyes.
Man, I hate those. Yeah, keep
going. No, for real. And you know, we still see that prevalent today with the new TikTok filters, and everybody has that base lashes on and the beat face. And I just want to say, like, it's really healthy for you to practice not using filters, finding your own personal angles, and like really getting yourself used to a camera and everything, because you deserve to feel nice without like filters on, you know?
I know I actively seek to like never use filters because it's so insidious, because it'll be a filter and it'll be maybe like to give you a fake piercing or to change the lighting, and they slightly make your nose smaller and they slightly make your cheeks smaller. Like there's a doll filter going around on TikTok right now where like it makes your face more to like a sharper like
a V?
Yeah. And a lot of people are like using it and like looking at themselves, and I just think that like people did not have access to stuff that like slightly changed their face or made their eyes bigger or whatever it was. So it wasn't like, oh, this is like, I'd rather look like this because like this filter looks so great. Like, I don't know, it's just so dystopian. To me, filters feel very dystopian.
It's good to practice not using filters.
Yes, and
it really helps with your like,
especially when like people like you like will wear makeup and then put on a filter. I'm like, y'all, you don't need to do both. like
you look gorgeous, babe.
I think it's like, I'll like see a really pretty girl or attractive guy, and then I will click on their like the video, use their sound, and it's a filter on, and I'm like, what, homegirl, you don't even look like that. But then I'll go and I'll find a video that seems like it doesn't have filter, and they still look as good. I'm like, now why do we need to do that?
It's like face dysmorphia. I think people talked about that.
Oh, I think people definitely have it. Yeah. I feel like our generation, it's inevitable because these filters like are so ingrained. Or I really hate the filters that be making me lighter. Insidious. Because why though? I remember I had this filter on and it's a jump scare. I'm like, that is not me, bro. That is not me. And some filters would just do that off the bat. So it's alterations. And then it's always towards like oh my goodness, European like beauty standards. It's never Eurocentric. It's never like, I'm gonna make your nose wider, I'm gonna make your brows thicker. I mean, they do have one that makes it thicker, but that's not the point. The point of the matter is it's a very certain beauty standard they like to push, and
I just want to add, beauty standards change all the time. It's fluctuating. Yeah, each country has their own expectations of what is beautiful. So I believe that you should get used to yourself.
Girl, I feel like it's gonna come across so preachy. We're not trying to be preachy.
That's true.
I mean, I think it's because we're actively in it. Like, we actively see it. Like, people our age using it all the time. I hope we're not coming across as like, they'll be like, well, they already look good, so they can't talk. Because we definitely, like, me and True both struggled accepting.
With self-image.
Yeah. And
I know I did. Like, I was going through the trenches.
And I'm not even going to show y'all photos of me growing up because, frankly, I don't want to do it.
That's none of y'all business.
No, really. But getting to a place where you really, on most days, because you're always going to have bad days, I think, that you're like, I like how I look. I remember I did this thing where every day I thought I looked pretty, I wrote it down.
Oh,
as a reminder.
That's cute.
And then I would go back and I'd be like, Lisa, you thought you looked good, like, what on days out the year? I'm like, and you do look good.
Oh, that's really cute.
Yeah.
When did you do this?
Oh, probably a few months ago.
Oh,
yeah.
That's so cute.
Yes, and it's a good reminder to, like, look and be like, I like how I look. I like who I am. Like, do, what are they called?
Self-affirmation?
Yeah, I always forget to do them, but I think as a Leo, I'm doing them all the time.
Yes, sis. You're beautiful.
Thank you, love.
Aww.
You too. You too.
Thank you.
But yes, got cheesy there for a moment, but it had to be said because these filters are messing your brains up. Like, because they were messing our brains, so we know.
Deep down. And let's see. Okay, another thing I have for, like, just, like, general self is self-talk, which is very similar to the whole filter self-image thing, but it's super important how you talk to yourself and how much you believe in yourself, because self-talk really goes hand in hand with, like, manifestation. I don't believe in it 100%. I don't practice it, but I'm
Girl, I am 100% into that.
If
you work it, okay, go true.
But I dabble in it because I believe that your psyche is the one that, like, pushes you through this entire thing. I don't, like, write down, oh, he's gonna be in love with me, but, like, if you channel that energy
into
yourself, like, it's gonna work out. And
because you can program your brain. It's all about, like, reprogramming how you see yourself.
Yeah. And it's super powerful.
Right.
And you gotta treat yourself nice.
Right. Like, as I was saying, I think we unintentionally limit ourselves because we don't see ourselves as capable of doing whatever it is that, maybe others see us as. I think that's why it's always so interesting when you have, like, a really, like, good circle of people and you find out how they view you. Because it could be completely different how you view yourself. Like, Truk was talking to me and I was like, this is not how I see Truk at all. Like, Truk is dope, but Truk sometimes, we all have, like, days where I just feel like...
I remember this one time I was texting you, and I was like, Alexis, I effed up. Please, just yell at me.
Yes! And I was like, no.
I was like, in my head, I was like, I wish Alexis would just tell me to shut up, and that I'm overreacting, and that, like, I should just deal with it. But she was like... Alexis is so nice. She's like, Truk, it's okay. Like, your feelings are valid, and let's talk through this. And I was like,
no, because I hate to be invalid, and, like, to have someone, like, invalidate how I feel. I'm like, I'm never gonna do that to someone I care about. I'm like, whatever you're feeling, if it has you worked up, it's of concern. And Truk was like,
invalidate myself.
No, so. And I think that's why it's really good to have friends who sometimes on your bad days they can help remind you, no. You're talking to yourself crazy, girl. Like, out of pocket. I just think that is a great thing. That's why it's circled. Like, your circle's really good. Because if you got people who are going to feed into your fears, it's going to be really hard to grow past that. Difficult.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Are we just about to wrap up? Or...
Oh my god, already?
Girl, I don't know. Is there anything else you want to say?
I mean, let me look through my list real quick. We weren't counting. We were just talking.
So I was gonna do, like, a list, do 1 through 20. I'm not doing that. I hope I hit 20.
I hope I hit 19 too. Oh wow.
Oh, good God.
This is our podcast. No one's counting but us.
Precisely. And then the viewers, they'll be like,
they're gonna be like, actually, you only talk like 15 points.
I'll be like, actually, you said 28. So
anyway,
y'all, please. Just be happy you got extra advice.
Yeah, it's a discussion.
Like,
this is a group discussion.
Absolutely.
Oh my gosh, are we wrapping up?
I think we are.
I want to talk more.
What do you want to say?
I don't have anything planned.
Oh my goodness. Truk's just excited to be back.
I am.
She's just crazy excited. And I am too. This has been really nice. I almost think these are almost like therapy sessions, but then therapy sessions for the internet.
Yeah, and oh my gosh, wait, can we talk about that real quick?
Sure.
Okay, speaking of therapy sessions on the internet, I think it's super important for you to, like, really delve in and find people alike to you so that you can learn from their perspective. So one channel that I really used to look up towards to back when I was like kind of going through the trenches was Anna Akana. She's an Asian American woman, and she has dealt with a lot of things in her life, and she actively goes to therapy, and she actively learns new things to better herself. And I don't practice what she like says to do, but I think she gives me terminologies that I would have never thought of, and that I could better understand my psyche and kind of like work past that. I don't know.
That. No,
like,
I get
be
that.
An active learner, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. I really like delving into like random topics, so I feel like I know, like, for a 19-year-old, good enough, of like, you know, empathy, emotional intelligence, and like how to process things and how to view others, and all those like on like a surface level, I guess, attachment styles, but I don't really go into that stuff.
I will say, I think this is a good reminder. My last piece of advice is to go to therapy. And I never mean that as like a backhanded thing, because I'm in therapy, a lot of my friends are in therapy. Y'all, there's so many things that you don't even realize are hindering you, or like mindsets that you have to shake to like grow into your best self, that therapy helps you discover, and it gives you the terminology, as Truth was saying, to understand exactly, I'm not alone here. This is what I'm going through. I think despite like the household you grew up in, anyone could benefit from it, because society, being a teenage girl can be traumatizing.
I want to add something though.
Go ahead.
So talk therapy may be very useful for people who are still learning about it, but for others, I have a lot of emotionally intelligent friends who find therapy very suffocating.
Really?
Because the therapist is kind of just rewinding everything and just saying things that the person already knows. And I tried BetterHelp, and it was kind of whack.
No, people say BetterHelp sucks though.
Yeah, I know. But nobody accepts my insurance. And
yeah, no.
I'm just trying to live my life.
And the way it's so hard to get a good therapist, because I think the thing is, a lot of people get therapists that just they don't vibe with, and then they're like, okay, I guess therapy's not for me.
I still believe in therapy. Y'all should go do that. But for people who find therapy suffocating, I want to suggest somatic therapy, where they work from bottom up psychology rather than talk therapy, which they talk from the top down, like logic to body. Somatic therapy is body to logic, right? You are like naturally reacting a certain way. Why? And kind of releasing that emotion. I haven't tried it yet, but you know, it's interesting. It's good to know alternatives to everything.
Yeah, no, I think that's a great point, and that's why Truth is here. No, kidding. No, but as like, I could definitely see how people would prefer that or benefit more from that, or if they feel like they've worked through talking, like, but they just want more. Like, logically,
they understand what their issues are, but they can't get their body to do something, and you sometimes have to release that holding back.
Yeah.
Because I know a lot of my friends are in the same boat as I am, where they're like, I know what's wrong with me.
Oh, yeah.
I don't want to change.
Oh, really?
Like me.
A lack of wanting to change, but knowing what's wrong.
Yeah.
I think, though, you have to, like, want to change. Like, acknowledging it, it's just, and it's like, okay.
But that's, like, a subconscious thing.
Oh.
So,
this is interesting, guys.
See, I know stuff. I've been studying.
Yeah, I know. Because I'm at the point where, like, I know exactly what's wrong, and I feel like it's limiting my life, and I'm like, I just want to change the things about myself, so I feel like I can grow. But you're the mind, like, I know what's wrong, and I just feel like I'm just, like, sitting in it.
Yeah. And you have to release that thing that's holding you back.
Yeah.
It's more of a bottom, like you're trying to protect yourself.
No, yeah. And I think that's definitely, like, going back to points about, like, relationships and stuff. Me and Truk 100% have walls up. We know, like, exactly what keeps us from letting somebody in, but it's the fear of doing so.
Yeah.
It's definitely the fear of doing so. What's fear? Comes down to that, and not wanting to be hurt, and not trusting people. As we all, like, I feel like a lot of people, I know at least TikTok comments, a lot of y'all are single. You ain't never done nothing. No disrespect, because we're in the same boat, but I know it's not just us.
I think that wraps up today's episode. I'm excited that we got the little thingy at the end. Yeah. We did not plan that.
A little rambling, but I mean, yeah, that's just kind of what we're doing right now. Okay, now down to the closing intros, y'all. As you know, I like to do a song
recommendation.
Yes, girl, thank you. A recommendation or you know, an album, an EP, and I'm suggesting a whole EP today.
Ooh.
It's called Monologues. It's by. Would you say this is Ogie?
OG? No.
It's OGI.
Oh, girl, I don't know these artists. I'm not a music person.
Well, okay, I literally love your music so much, so I'm so sorry if I'm pronouncing your stage name wrong or your real name. I think it's Ogie. It's Monologues. We're definitely gonna put like something here so y'all can see what it looks like. But the songs are so like the whole EP is just kisses. I recommended it to one of my friends and she loved it, so it's a 5 out of 5, y'all. And she doesn't have nearly enough like listeners per month in my opinion, so definitely check it out if you're into R&B, you're into your feels. I think you would really have a good time with it. And now Trip gets on to you, girl.
Okay, so what did I learn on TikTok this week? And I actually learned this yesterday when I was at home rotting on the couch, and I learned that statistically people with more surface level friends are happier than people with 2 really close friends.
What?
Yeah, right?
Wait.
That's so weird.
Okay.
But I can explain.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm gonna get into it. So, people who have more friends statistically are happier because they have access to resources from other people. They have connections to a multitude of people. And they are able to maintain themselves while just like going through life and everything.
Why do I feel like we're contradicting our statement?
We are, yeah.
You are. I didn't say that.
Okay, I am.
No,
well,
you're
okay.
just sharing
Yeah.
what you learned. You just
But
share what you learned.
I think in life it's good to learn a lot of things and come up with your own perspective on it. But yeah, I think it's super interesting where statistically, if you have more friends, you are happier because you have access to these things.
I'm really curious, like, the group of people they did it on, the age, like, people they did it on, because I feel like that would have a lot of, like, variety.
You're right.
Like, what was the race? What was the age group?
Scientific thinking.
I did sociology. So I would want to, like, dive further into that. Was it, like, middle-aged white women, or was it, like only minorities? Like, who was doing this? Because I think it changes. I think it changes per...
You bring up a good point. Okay.
And then also, was it got men? Because I think men seem to have more, like, surface level friendships, and they seem fine with that.
She's hot. You're hot. You're hot for
I am
asking
on
these
fire.
questions. Oh.
Anyway, just something to think
but
about.
I can try to pull up the creator, and we can put up the video on our pod. But I think another aspect is knowing more people allows you to grow as a person because they bring in different perspectives to your life, and you practice patience.
Debate that in the comments. Please. I want to know what y'all think.
I didn't save her thing, but I liked it passively. And it
we're gonna edit that in. True could edit that in.
Yeah.
Okay, people with more friends are happier people. Let me explain. Okay, so there are close friends, and then there are sort of kind of friends, acquaintances, associates. The sociological term for people who are not our besties, but with whom we have like pleasant enough relationships with, is weak ties. Those are people who you enjoy, but who you see more infrequently and you have less intimacy with. According to research, people with more weak ties are happier and are less likely to have depression. And why? It's because close friends are not the only kind of relationships that offer value to your life. So people who have a lot of weak ties, they probably have more access to resources they need, which keeps them happier and healthier. They have access to critical information. They have a variety of perspectives, which makes them feel like their world is bigger. And they are getting affirmed for the various aspects of their intersectional identities, which means you probably feel seen more because you have a variety of people in your life.
But yes, and that is wrapping up for today's episode, season 2, episode 1, In Good Company.
Bye. Oh,
Bye.
wait. Shout out to Bobby.
Shout out to Bobby in the Humanities Department. Sorry, Bobby. It's been a minute.
It's been a summer.
It's been a minute. Love y'all. Love you. And we'll be back next week.
Bye.
Wait, no, we'll be back the week after.
Bye. We'll be back next Thursday.
Bi-weekly, y'all. Kisses.